Okay. Well, guys, in 155, we're going to see that we have different types of sentences, and also we have different ways to connect sentences. When we have two sentences or more, sometimes they're gonna ask us for joining that sentences for it to look more natural. For example, if we see in example number 1 of page 155, you're gonna see fire is hot, fire is wild, and fire is violent. There is a way to connect, guys, these sentences when we have the same subject. For example, Gabriela, which is the subject in this sentence or in this series of sentences?
Fire.
Fire, exactly. That's the word that is repeated. When you see this and they ask you to use serious, serious is not anything else than using commas. We're gonna use commas with the same subject. In this case, fire, that is the main subject of all the sentences, and we're gonna place as the example that is over there. Fire is hot, wild, and violent. What does that mean? That we join three sentences by just placing commas. That means that we join it by series. That's the first way to combine more than one sentence. We have another example. In number 2, you can often put out a home fire with the right kind of fire extinguisher. Well, that's one sentence. That's a complete sentence. The other is this works if the fire is small when it is detected. Now, this works if the fire is small when it is detected. Is that a complete sentence or is not a complete sentence? Do you think that that's a dependent clause or independent clause? This works if the fire is small when it is detected.
Dependent clause.
It's a dependent clause, exactly. So, like if you want to put it in an easier way, what do we have to add to that sentence to make it a complex sentence? We have a complete sentence and a dependent clause. So what do we have to add to that sentence to make a complex sentence?
A conjunction.
What type of conjunction? If we have a dependent clause?
Coordinating. No.
Mm,
Superlative.
Superlative.
Subordinating.
Yeah.
Subordinating. Yes,
Subordinate.
subordinating. Exactly. So when I ask you guys to use an introductory phrase or a clause, basically what I'm asking is for you to complete the sentence by putting a subordinating conjunction. That is basically an introductory phrase is a subordinating conjunction or a subordinating clause. So let's see. If I put, guys, for example, if a home fire is small when it is detected, you can often put it out of with the right kind of fire extinguisher. So what I'm doing is only to change of position. The second sentence, I put if a home fire is small when it is detected, you can often put it out with the right kind of extinguisher. So write it right now as I tell you, and I will explain what happened in the sentence.
Can you repeat it?
Yes. If a home fire is small when it is detected. If a home fire is small when it is detected. If a home fire is small when it is detected, comma, you can often put it out with the right kind of extinguisher.
You can often what?
You can often put it out with the right kind of extinguisher. Okay. First of all, identify what do we add to the sentence, to this sentence. What do we add at the beginning? What do we add to join this sentence? Do you look at it? Look the difference between one and another sentence. What do we add to each one?
A comma.
Well, a comma, but something else is something different also.
It starts with a dependent clause.
It starts with a dependent clause. Exactly. So always, guys, that you want to show, for example, an idea, subordinating clauses will establish the relationship between one and another. For example, in here is if is using as the introductory clause or the introductory phrase. If a home fire is small, well, they use it as the introductory when it is detected, comma, and then goes everything that was in the beginning of the sentence. You can often put it out with the right kind of fire extinguisher. So what we do, guys, is that we change a position the majority of the times the subordinating clause to the beginning by adding a subordinating conjunction, and after that you just place the complete sentence or the independent clause. Number 3, we keep several fire extinguishers around the house to put out small fires. We keep them to provide peace of mind. Another time, do we have two complete sentences?
Yes. No.
We
No.
keep them to provide peace of mind. What do we keep to provide peace of mind? Do we know the answer by just reading that sentence? We keep them to provide
No.
peace of mind. No, no, we don't have the complete concept of it. So we can also add correlative conjunctions. Now, which are, you already know them. For example, nor or, either nor, or either or, neither nor, but also, not only, and so on. So what do we have to be clear here? That in the two sentences, we have to put one and another conjunction. So I'm gonna give you the example. You're gonna copy until house, everything that is until house. We keep several fire extinguishers around the house. You're gonna copy everything that is in the book until house. We keep several fire extinguishers around the house. Comma, comma, not only, not only, not only to put out small fires, not only to put out small fires. but also to provide peace of mind. But also to provide peace of mind. What do we do in this sentence, guys? What do we add to these sentences? Where are the relative correlative conjunctions?
Not,
Not
but
and but also.
not and but.
Exactly. Not but. So we use not only and but also. We use pairs of conjunctions. We use both of them. So when we use pairs of conjunctions, guys, that you must remember them, we are using correlative conjunctions to join two sentences. So you have to look for them, for the correlative conjunctions, for you not to be like lost. So remember, guys, that we use correlative conjunctions always in pairs. For example, in this case, we have two pairs, not only and also, but also. We always will gonna use it together. So if you look, for example, to the chart, you're gonna look that both and are together, not only, but also are together, just as much as, if and then, what with and, either or, so as, and so on. You have a lot of combinations that you must remember. So that's a way to use with correlative conjunctions. Number 4, by using a relative pronoun. Well, also you have to remember relative pronouns. Remember which are relative pronouns. Can somebody let me know a relative pronoun? Anyone? We have like 8 or something like that. The majority start with W. Easy. The majority.
Who?
Who? Another?
Which?
Which?
Whom,
Whom?
where,
Where?
What?
What? Why? When? Whose?
With.
And that. We.
which.
Wish.
With.
Yeah, yes. Wish. Yes. So that are the relative pronouns, guys. And when do we use relative pronouns? Well, basically, I'm gonna give you the example right now. I'm gonna give you the example how do we use it. So start copying. Electrical fires and those involving flammable liquids. You have the first part of the book. Electrical fires and those involving flammable liquids, comma, which cannot be extinguished with water, sorry, which cannot be extinguished with water, which cannot be extinguished with water, comma, comma, should be put out, should be put out, should be put out with the spray foam from a carbon dioxide or a dry chemical extinguisher. Should, since should until extinguisher. Okay, remember guys that always relative pronouns will introduce a relative phrase or a relative clause. And when we talk about this type of clauses, we are referring, let's read it. Electrical fires and those involving flammable liquids which cannot be extinguished with water. We are referring to what part of the sentence when we say which cannot be extinguished with water? To what we are referring? When we say which cannot be extinguished with water, that sentence, about what we are talking?
Electrical fires.
Exactly, electrical fires, electrical fires. So all that phrase is describing to what? All that phrase is describing to what? To the subject, right? It's describing to the subject. So when we have this type of subjects, we have a noun clause, a noun clause. Remember, these concepts, we already saw it last year and also this year. Noun clause is when we have a phrase that refers to the subject, that explains the subjects, that describes the subject. It's basically an appositive. It's something like an appositive. It's basically that. And you see that they are inside commas. It is inside commas. It is inside commas. So that is a clause. Let's see in number 5, a participial phrase. How do we use a participial phrase? Well, let's start. I'm gonna give you the example and then we're gonna discuss the example. Releasing a blanket of carbon dioxide, releasing a blanket of carbon dioxide, comma, comma, this type of fire extinguisher, keeps air from reaching the fire. So you just have to copy that second sentence. Okay, so in this case, guys, remember that participial phrases obviously starts with a participle, and a participle can start with ing or a verb in ing or a verb in ed. That are the two types of participles, with ed or ing. Remember, guys, the participles are not considered the verb of the sentence. They can be subjects. They can be subjects. A participial will not be considered as verbs. If we see releasing a blanket of carbon dioxide is the subject of the sentence. That is considered the subject of the sentence. Also, guys, we're gonna see that it will start with a verb in ing or ed. So that will be the clue for you to identify a participial phrase. It will start with a verb in ing or ed, and they will be the subjects. They will act as subjects, as nouns, okay? A participial will act as a noun or adjective, and they will be with ing or ed. So if you see the sentence, guys, releasing a blanket of carbon dioxide is the subject of the sentence. Everything is the subject. This type of fire extinguisher keeps air from reaching the fire. So if I ask Gabriela, which is the verb in that sentence? It's not releasing. We already must be clear that it's not releasing.
Wait, mister, it is a disaster here in my house.
Ah, okay.
Sorry.
Jelani, help her, please. Look
Which
for
is
the
the
verb.
question?
Which is the verb in that sentence, number 5?
Keeps.
Exactly, keeps. Why we don't say that is releasing, if that is a verb also?
Because it is the subject.
Exactly, is the
Subject.
subject. It's acting as a subject. It cannot be the verb. And the last one for today, I'm gonna give you also, guys, the concepts of each one of them. Okay, I'm gonna give you the concepts. The last one, number 6. Fire can be a terrifying enemy. Fire is normally one of our greatest allies. Okay, I'm gonna tell you the sentence. Fire, comma, fire, comma, normally one of our greatest ally, normally one of our greatest allies, normally one of our greatest allies, comma, can be a terrifying enemy, can be a terrifying enemy. Okay, so in here, guys, obviously we use it in a positive. How do we form in a positive? Well, we use it by describing the noun. We are describing the noun with extra information that can be taken from the sentence and will not change of a idea, right? The sentence. So if we see here, we have the word that is clue for us to know, fire. Fire is normally one of our greatest allies, and also fire can be a terrifying enemy. So how can we change that? By adding in a positive. Well, the second sentence, we're going to use it as extra information. It's not necessary to repeat another time the subject. Basically, we just have to put the extra information inside commas, and we're going to make it a positive. As we see in the example, fire, comma, normally one of our greatest ally, comma, can be a terrifying enemy. In this sentence, normally one of our greatest allies will be acting as a positive. I'm gonna share you right now, guys, 2 charts for you to copy them as a review. I'm gonna show you right now. Let me know, guys, if you're seeing the screen, please. Anything? Well, I think that I have to dictate this stuff. Well, guys, write in your notebooks, please write in your notebooks. Write in your notebooks, relative pronouns, relative pronouns, relative pronouns, relative pronouns. Relative pronouns. Who, who. And you're gonna leave, guys, something, because I'm gonna give you when do we use who. Relative pronouns, who. Number 1 is who. When do we use who? Well, you have to put like a colon, and then you're gonna put like the definition, when do we use it? Relates to people, relates to people. Who, colon, relates to people. Inside parentheses, subject. who relates to people. Inside parentheses, subject. Number 2, whom. Number 2, whom. Relates to people also. But the only thing that is different is inside parentheses, you have to put whom. So specifying a person. Specifying a person. The first one is incomplete in general, a subject. We are telling that is in general a subject. But in whom, it must be a person. It must be a person, not the subject. Remember that subjects can be objects, can be persons, can be things, can be places. So in who, you can use it with a place, with a person, with a thing, but whom is basically just for persons. Number 3, which. Relates to animal and objects. Which relates to animals and objects. Number 4, that. That. Relates to people, animal, and things. Relates to people, animal, and things. Relates to people, animal, and things. Number 5, whose. Number 5, whose. Refers to possession. Whose refers to possession. Whose refers to possession. Number 6, where. Where. Refers to places. Where refers to places. Number 7, when. Refers to time. Refers to time. Next one, why. Why refers to reason. Refers to reason. And the last one, what relates to things. What relates to things. Okay, guys. So basically, that will be for today. What I was trying to explain you. In next class, I'm gonna put you to copy also correlative conjunctions and how do we use a participial phrase. And also, we're gonna see next page other ways to join conjunctions and to join sentences by conjunctions. as a conjunctive adverb with semicolons. And with that, we're gonna finish for this topic. Guys, this topic will be like yes?
We have to send you the page that we made.
Yes.
Thing that you-
With the chart. You have to send me the page with the chart. Guys, this will be one of the topics that can be more complex because the different types to combine sentences and how to combine the sentences by putting it in order. So we're gonna take like 2 weeks with this. So next week also we're gonna continue with this topic. Okay, guys. So basically that is for today. So take care, and we're gonna see you in the next class. Remember that on Wednesday we're gonna have literature. We're gonna have literature on Wednesday, and on Friday is the first day of exposition. Remember that, please.